One of the things, and I want to move out of DC for this next one, go down to Florida, is Ron DeSantis is just doing Ron DeSantis things. This week, he banned AP African American Studies, and he also banned a lot of other AP history classes that oftentimes dealt with, less than the American Anglo-Saxon experience. And there's a lot to go in on this, but I think the one thing, and this is something that I think, again, from a messaging standpoint, Democrats need to hammer home, whether it's McCarthy, whether it's Trump, whether it's DeSantis, whether it's any number of Republicans. They just take pride in being assholes. I'm sorry. Even from the standpoint of, in the old days, I don't necessarily, there's a lot of Republicans I don't agree with, but I you could have different opinions on things and everything else, but it seems like the most important thing that the Republicans do, regardless of where they stand on issues, is they lead with assholetry. Your thoughts, and especially through the prism of Ron DeSantis.
Well, it's not just assholey. It's evil. It's them rewriting history. It's them trying to sweep things under the rug. They're clearly trying to whiteify. I don't know if that's a word, but they're clearly trying to make it so they're trying to gaslight the whole country into thinking we don't know any history. Tucker Carlson, I brought him up earlier. He was on this week saying, "Why would we want to learn history? Like, what good does it serve?" He was talking about Richard Nixon being the most popular president ever, and all of a sudden he gets canceled and he gets kicked out the next day. Obviously, that's not what happened. They're trying to change. So, just to put it into perspective, Republicans think wokeness is. I know the word woke has been hijacked, but they think wokeness is this idea that white people are bad, all white people are racist, that everyone is against white people, and so they're trying to fight back on that by going after history and the knowledge that we need to kind of make those um, clarifications as we move forward. Right? There's a big push in this country to get things right. There's a big reparations conversation happening. I know locally here in Evanston, the local government's doing something about that. California's talking about it. Biden's talking about equity, right? And when vaccines came up, we were talking about equity. And I think the way that Republicans and white people are dealing with that is just not to accept it and trying to learn. They're trying to fight it. And DeSantis is the king of Florida right now. He's untouchable there. He could do whatever he wants there. He might set Florida back years and years and years. Now, let's say he runs and somebody else steps in and tries to undo all that stuff. It's just going to take such a long time. What's interesting, though, John, is the DeSantis pivot to the hard right in gear for the election. Let's say he's doing this. As you know, they go far right, far left in the primary, and then they all try to get back to center during the general election, which that's what I'm saying. DeSantis is going to be unsuccessful in that. Let's say he gets through a Trump primary, gets to the election. All this stuff is going to be used against him, obviously. There is no such thing as a swing voter when it comes to DeSantis. You're either going to believe what he believes or not. And yeah, I don't mean to keep pivoting to 2024, but what they're doing is evil, and it's a response to us trying to get the country back on track.
Yeah, and let me give you, and I will not claim to be an academic, even though I teach at the collegiate level, but let me give you an academic's perspective with what he's doing. Everything from the Stop Woke Act to the Don't Say Gay, with the taking over of the new school, which is actually where our friend Brendan actually was a professor before he moved up here, and really trying to change the board and turn it into a Hillsdale of the South. Um, that's going to, and with Ben Sass being now the president of University of Florida, it's going to have a chilling effect on their college education. I'll tell you why. You may have heard the phrase brain drain. Um, Schools, especially what they call Tier One or R1 schools, which are the bigger schools that have these strong research institutions, have strong reputations. Those schools that exist in Florida are going to have a hard time both recruiting and retaining quality faculty members. And if that is the case, then you're going to see, and when you think about it, at least at the graduate level, maybe even at the undergraduate level, you're also going to see, and the reason why I say it's more likely at the graduate level than the undergraduate levels, because graduate students are a little bit more engaged with politics, right? Um, but you're going to see, if this continues, the quality of the education and the quality of the faculty that the Florida universities are able to recruit and retain is going to take a drastic drop. Because think about it. If you were a professor of African American history and you were in Florida, would you want to stay at the college you're at? And if you were a teacher of African American history that was at another college outside of Florida, and you're looking for a career change, and all of a sudden there is a job opening in Florida, would you take it? No. So it's going to have a detrimental effect on higher education in Florida.